The Lord be with you. Welcome to chapel. We will begin this morning with the invocation and the reading. Please stand. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. The reading for this morning comes from John chapter 13, verses 31 through 35. When he had gone out, Jesus said, "Now is the Son of Man glorified, and God is glorified in him. If God is glorified in him, God will also glorify him in himself, and glorify him at once. Little children, yet a little while I am with you. You will seek me, and just as I said to the Jews, so now I also say to you, where I am going, you cannot come. A new commandment I give to you, that you love one another, just as I have loved you. You also are to love one another. By this all people will know that you are my disciples, if you have love for one another." This is the word of the Lord.
For some of us, it's easy to fall for the great love stories of all time. Romeo and Juliet, Rhett and Scarlett, Kate and William. Oh, wait a minute, there's a note stuck here from my wife. Okay. Val and Karen, okay. The romance, the dedication, the complications. Not being an expert on the subjects prevents me from sharing too many details, but you get the idea. But these are not the love stories I'm here to talk about today. Children's author Barbara Josie, she's a local author and an internationally known children's author, and by the way, for Candy Cider's sake, she'll be speaking here on campus this summer, has a picture book, I Love You the Purplest. It's a touching story of a mother and her two young sons and how they are both competing for their mother's love. In the end, she tells one that she loves him the reddest and the other the bluest. Touching to say the least, but it's not the love story I'm here to talk about today. Have you ever watched a championship sporting event and heard them interview a player from a winning team and express his thanks and love to the Lord? Many people express their praise and appreciation for their courage that it took for that athlete to stand up and say those things in front of millions of people. Stories like that can really get some of us going and motivated. But it's not the love story I'm here to talk about today. In the past few years, many of us have been enamored by the courtship, marriage, and impending parenthood of the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, Kate and William, for those of us not as sophisticated as others. It seems to be the perfect match, and it all seems so right. But it's not the love story I'm here to talk about today. It can't be a complete message like this and talking about love stories without bringing in the works of that profound writer, William Shakespeare. And not the least of that would be the love story of those two young lovers, Romeo and Juliet, which some call the greatest love story of all time. But it's not the love story I'm here to talk about today. For this next example, I'm going to step out on a limb here and I ask you to do a little audience participation with me, but it's the non-threatening kind. So I want you all to close your eyes, and I want you to think back for me. And as you keep them closed for a bit, I want you to think and reflect on those wonderful people in your lives, those people that you love, and the wonderful things that maybe you've said or done or thought regarding those people that you love so dearly. Keeping your eyes closed, but that's not the love story I'm here to talk about today. Now, keeping your eyes closed for just a bit more, I want you to think back on some of the things that you've done or said or thought over your lifetime that you know were wrong. Things that hurt others, maybe toward those that we love, but also toward those that we don't love. These things that separated us from God. And then while you still have your eyes closed, I want you to pretend that I'm up here with the biggest mirror on campus. And I want you to think about what you see in that mirror. That's the love story I'm here to talk about today. Okay, Randy, you can open your eyes now, Dr. Ferguson. Okay. I know it's hard to relate those ugly things in our lives to a love story, but I believe that's exactly what it is. Part of verse 34 in today's reading was the phrase, "As I have loved you." Earlier, I gave you some examples of people or places or situations that it's really pretty easy to love someone or something. The hero, the champion, the beautiful people, the great relationships. But for a moment, I would like you to think about what some might consider the opposite of those situations. How about a mother and her two exasperating sons as she's at her wit's end and doesn't know what to do? You ever thought about the losing team? Or the team that doesn't make the playoffs, or the team that doesn't win a game? Or who knows what kind of sordid stuff goes on behind the scenes in London and places like that? Those are the love stories I'm here to talk about today. You know, there's you and me. Maybe my son was right back in his middle school years when he would jokingly refer to himself as ULM, Unloved Mitchell. Just our sinful existence itself separates us from God and makes each of us unlovable. And then add all those things that we have done in our lives that have condemned us even more. That's the love story. And that may be the most unbelievable thing about God's relationship with us. That God in His greatness knows and knew every sordid thing that I have done or will do, and still says, "As I have loved you." That because of His love for us, He gave us Jesus to bear the weight of all those ugly things that I have ever thought or said or did or will do. And out of His love for me and for you, gave His life so that I might live. And He did it for everyone that ever walked this earth, no matter how unlovable they might do. He did it for Peter, He did it for Paul, He did it for Augustine, He did it for Luther, He did it for Ted Bundy, and He did it for Val. You know, now that I think about it, maybe there are no love stories with God, just love facts. My dad used to start almost all of his prayers with the words, "Father, thank you for your love." And isn't it great that each of us, in all our depravity, all our despair, all our hopelessness, all our sin, need never be alone, because we have those 5 words to stand on. The fact, "As I have loved you."